Okay, this is the standard Intendor radio show. I'm going to try and find some opening soundtrack. Is that sufficiently menacing? That's Intendor number 4. I need to turn that down. Well, I'll get it later. Sometimes later. Sometime later I'll get an opening soundtrack, you know. Da 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 da. More likely I'll try and get something real threatening. You know, I look through the this is the look through the Facebook feed. Tom Dispatch, Robert Reich. Naked capitalism doesn't show up too much in the Facebook feed, but it's very important. I haven't been able to break through there. I need vetting for the Insurodollar. The Insurodollar is shared equity of whole life policies purchased for citizens from birth with partially shared equity as a basis for the currency. Currency matters. What the basis for your currency is matters. I mean, how do you get gold, or how did you get gold? American Indians know what happened when they found gold in their property. As it goes, though, right now, I haven't gotten any traction on the Insurodollar. And a lot of people, I explained it to people, and they didn't necessarily seem to miss the idea. They just didn't want to kind of like think for themselves about it. But I'll tell you one thing. This is one thing to remember. There's absolutely no way that the environmentalist will beat the petrodollar imperative. Until you change the basis and foundation for the currency away and change it into something different, which I don't know of anything better than the Insurodollar, which is based on human capital. Until you do that, you're not going to beat the petrodollar imperative. There's no way. That is the source of wealth. That's what wealth is measured by. Energy is the number one requirement for civilization. To have the civilization you want, you have to have energy to run it, plus a surplus. Okay? So I am looking for economists who are authorities who can speak and therefore will make the majority of people open their minds enough to grasp the situation. I always said it'd be more interesting to be here for the end of the world than for the beginning. But for us, it sure does look like it's getting to the end of it. It's a major, I mean, it's like half the creatures on the planet are going extinct right in front of our eyes. And if they're not going extinct, we're, you know, scientists are just watching it, telling us. Scientists will get depressed about it. you get a hold of some engineers, you support the engineers, and they'll do something about it. Engineers could give us energy capture from the ocean, from the wind, from solar, geothermal. They could give us all the energy we need. Just encourage them. So listen, this guy, a new political system emerging in this country. And it's on from Tom Dispatch. This is the Facebook, part of my Facebook feed. And it's broken down into 4 bits. 1% elections, privatization of the state or the U.S. as a prospective third world nation. And it's acting like one. And they're making the point it's acting like a third world nation because of the way Hillary has used her email account. And instead of using the one that she was supposed to use as department, head of the State Department. Delegitimization of Congress and the presidency. Talking about the way that war is just, ordered by the presidency, or just kind of seems to happen with no real discussion, no vote, no real. Here's a president who came into office rejecting torture and promoting sunshine and transparency in government has, in the course of 6+ years, come to identify himself almost totally with the U.S. military, the CIA, the NSA, and the like. And it has launched an unprecedented campaign against whistleblowers and leakers. We wouldn't even know about TPP if it hadn't been for Harold Snowden. The rise of the national security state as the 4th branch of government. Well, they used to keep it secret. I remember when the NSA was just being whispered about. You were just finding out about it. I was invited to the Carter's inauguration because of a book of poetry. Carter was actually right. He was putting up solar panels. Pardon the Dodgers. Couldn't pardon the deserters, but he was pardoning the Dodgers that were in because of the pardon that had been extended to Nixon. So there was a move to be fair. There was talk of legalizing pot, and that hadn't happened. There was a smear. I don't know whether they were smart or stupid, whether they were doing coke in the White House or not, but they were. The story was that they were. Coke is a narcotic, comes from the mob. What we have is a legacy of the mob. Meyer Lansky financial engineering on the streets. Well, that Lansky financial engineering, hidden income, no taxes, gambling, and all like that. Okay, all that was legalized under Clinton. And then we've had a continuation of J. Edgar Hoover policies on the streets. Whatever, you would think J. Edgar Hoover was still walking the earth. You got pot still illegal in most of the country, except for 2 states. It's federally illegal. Makes a final difference. They're trying to change the banking for those states so that they have access to banking. Anyway, I'd given up in 78, and that's when I'd really began work on Transcendia. And not having any success there because really I was kind of forced off airfields. That's one aspect of it. But the pay hadn't gone up in my area of work for over 30, 40 years. I used to really enjoy that job. So anyway, let's just cut it short tonight. I hope you got one thing clearly in mind, is that you have to replace the petrodollar with the Insurodollar if you're going to have any success in relationship to the petrodollar imperative, which functions as if it was a gold rush. We told them the oil was going to run out. Okay. Told them we'd better stop using it, or we're going to destroy the earth for human beings. But that doesn't figure in. It's somebody else's problem, even though it's happening now. And Bitcoin, when they looked at, they did, how do you spell Yves? Y-V-E-S? Eves?
Y-V-E-S.
How do you say it?
Yves Saint Laurent.
Eve. Eve Smith, who is which is a pseudonym, pointed out that it's kind of the Bitcoin there. It doesn't work as a national currency in relation to Greece at all. There isn't enough of it, and it's not acceptable. It's not based on something. It's just. And so the euro is still superior to the Greeks. And so that's why they're trying to hold on to it, even though they're talking about going back to the drachma. Okay? They're probably going to end up. I've recommended the Insurodollar for them, but I'm not getting traction. I haven't gotten traction. I one time complained that they don't let working class people influence much anymore at all. So Bernie Sanders is making a stand. I basically feel like if he doesn't win, if we end up with either Hillary or one of the Bush people, I'd love to see Sanders and Trump end up running against each other, because I would expect that even as bad as things are, Sanders would win. But it's kind of a last chance. You go on with the status quo, and this is what we got. Extinctions. Everybody knows TPP is going to put more Americans out of work. And talk about covering it with a fig leaf of retraining. Well, I got retrained and now I'm a creative economist. Okay, let's leave it at that. Let's leave it as conflict between the petrodollar and the Insurodollar. Let's leave it at that.